listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Welcome everyone to the Narrative Podcast. I'm your host, Halsey Allen. How are you this sensational Saturday? Well, I hope. I'm doing fantastic. Hope you had a great weekday and are off to a good weekend. Wherever you're at in the world, whatever you're doing in the world. Sending light and healing energy to you. All right, welcome my narrators. Welcome anyone new to the podcast just now tuning in today. I assure you, it's not on accident. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're rocking with me on the Narrative Podcast. So allow me to briefly give you a rundown about the Narrative Podcast to all brand new listeners. So it is called the Narrative Podcast. It's called the Narrative Podcast for a reason, because on this platform, I changed the narrative of how original people and original culture are viewed. Original people and original culture are viewed and depicted in a negative light by mainstream media and all other outlets. And the reason they do this is to, keep the resources for themselves, B, profit, and then C, to maintain the power structure in the world. Meaning they don't want us to have tangibles. They don't want us to be viewed as human beings. They don't want us to be viewed as capable, competent, rational human beings. They want to depict us as like animalistic, amoral, and problematic. Basically, the image they want to project of us is an image of a people who are, a drain on the resources and not a contribution to humanity. They want to, basically promote negative original people stereotypes and, recycle and reproduce and push these negative stereotypes for their agenda, for the overall destruction of our people. So I wanted to create a platform where I do just the opposite. I highlight and showcase, all the things we do, all the things we bring to the table. What I don't do on here is negative gossip and negative banter. I don't attack, people, original men and original women. I don't attack them. We get enough of that. I just, congratulate and celebrate all of our accomplishments. That's why I created this platform. So my tagline is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative original people original stereotypes about original people and original culture. So the old tagline used to be the Narrative Podcast, destroying negative black stereotypes one episode at a time. So all I've done now is just replace the word black with original. And I think I went over that on my live feed, but for those that was not able to join me on the live feed on Wednesday, I just briefly reiterate, I believe in the power of words on my platform. So, black is something, a pronoun we got assigned to us. It does not, denote a nationality. It is not a physical trait. While there is some of us that are very darkly complected, none are black. Black symbolizes death. Black symbolizes the end of all things. So we're anything but black. We are original. I think original is more appropriate to define who we are. So I'm using that from now on, original people. That's how I'm going to refer to us on my platform. That covers everything. So, original people over here, it's like we're not necessarily African. A lot of us was already here before slavery. Some of us came over here via slavery. So we're unsure of what to really call ourselves. African, we're darn sure not African Americans. Foundational Black American, that's acceptable. But again, the black is in there. So, I'm just putting options on the table, just putting options. I hope I summed that up. My overall takeaway that I want from this podcast experience, my tagline is changing the narrative one episode at a time. What I want to do to my listeners and it is inspire them to change the narrative one post at a time. Because we're all content creators with these handheld devices. A lot of stereotypes about us are, derived from the content that we post online, that some of us post online. And, people outside of our culture that don't understand the nuances within our culture and just, cultural things we got going on, they assume that's, they make generalizations. They think all of us are like that. And, it's just not true. And, they prejudge us and they create these stereotypes and stigmas about us. But, we can control the narrative, how we're being viewed worldwide by just simply what we post online. If we post images of, entrepreneurialism, people being leaders in the community, people being good mothers, good fathers, just being dutiful, then, the narrative will shift slightly. The algorithm will change slightly. They'll stop making all these, assumptions and manufacturing all this ridiculous television programming and advertisements geared towards the stereotypes rather than us as a people. So that was a little long-winded explanation. I like to try to keep these things under an hour, but I want to make sure I just cover all my bases to let you know what this podcast series is about. So I have devised my podcast into sections. I will explain what each section is about as I come to them. And, just buckle up and enjoy and get ready for a good, positive experience for the next hour or so. I'm about to challenge the way you think and inspire you to change the narrative. All right, first up the business. Before I jump into my normal format, I just want to get a couple things out of the way, address some things that I didn't get to address on my live feed. Let me get my darn notes in order. I had them in order, I flipped the page. Okay, sorry about that sound effect. And then also I want to take time to right at the beginning, apologize. When I share this podcast back on all platforms, you'll probably hear a lot of commercials. I haven't monetized, so I apologize in advance about the ad rolls. So, I don't never know when the ad rolls are going to come. They might cut me off in mid speech at a very crucial juncture in my podcast. I can't control that. It's how to pay the bills. So anyway, first thing I want to correct. I can't remember which live edition podcast I did. I believe it was Wednesday. It might have been the one before that. But the man who invented the gaming robots, I said he was from Ghana, and he is not from Ghana. He is from Nigeria. He is Nigerian. So I want to just make that correction to correct myself. And then also now on the when I did my live Wednesday, I had got so ramped up, I forgot to jot something very crucial in my notes. I wanted to celebrate and congratulate Kabi Lame, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He is from Senegal. He's a TikToker. He just recently broke the internet for TikTok. He got 146.2 million views. He has 146.7 million followers and 1.3 billion likes. And he did all of this without ever saying one word. He just did a whole bunch of TikTok videos reacting to, these insipid life hacks, like the life hack videos that supposedly will make your life easier, a shortcut, but it ends up being a long cut. And he just basically just physically reacting to it. It's basically like a physical form of comedy. He's just not saying a word. He's just his expressions. The old expression, a picture's worth 1,000 words. If looks can kill, you would be dead. Like, that's Kabi. If you went to TikTok and viewed his content, you would see why I said that. So he basically just did what all of us was thinking anyway when these hack videos were trending during the pandemic. They was stupid. Like, they ended up being more work than anything. It wasn't hacks are supposed to be shortcuts. These are long cuts. These content creators was coming up with. It's like, okay, who's going to take time to make this structure? Who's going to take the time to cut, a toilet paper roll in half and a hot glue gun, all this stuff? Like, nobody's going to do that. But anyway, I just want to take time out to acknowledge Kabi for his accomplishments. And I just didn't get a chance to get to it on my live on Wednesday. So I've gotten to it now. And going in. So first section of the Narrative Podcast is called the promotion section. And in this section, what I'm doing is promoting originally owned businesses by original owners. So originally owned businesses, AKA Black. If you're still not comfortable, it's going to take a while adjusting to it because it sounds kind of weird, but it's ingrained in us to say Black. But I'm going to learn you today on my platform. We're going to say original. So originally owned companies, originally owned and operated. So that's what I'm promoting in that section. People original people that own their own companies and need or would like some free promotion. So hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo. In the body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, business, product, and service. The more specific you are, the better I can properly plug your business, product, or service in bringing you more business and keeping that original dollar circulating in the original community. So that's what that section is for. Hope you got all that information. I try to keep these things 1 hour. I try to, if I can help it, under an hour. So we're moving right on to the next section. The next section is a contest I designed specifically for listener participation, basically to reward everyone that listens to my podcast, just giving them a reward for listening to me and inspiring them to continue to listen to me and tell other people about my podcast by entering a contest. And the contest is called the Chew on This Contest. And to enter this contest, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type chew on this / or dash. Now, I came up with this contest before I had this epiphany about the power of words, but it's too late to change it. The contest is called, the topic of the contest is Shopping While Black. I want you to share your most recent Shopping While Black experience. And for that, I'm rewarding you with a bulk supply of your favorite snack. So to enter this contest, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type chew on this / or dash Shopping While Black. If you don't want to type the whole word Shopping While Black, then just type the acronym SWB, and I know what that means. In the body of the email, share with me your Shopping While Black experience, your most recent one. Just briefly summarize it. I don't want a detailed novel. Just give me a brief synopsis of what happened. And after that, your mailing address, so I will, of course, know where to send your snack. And what type of snack do you want? Like what kind? So I know, what to get you. Hope that makes sense. And my logic behind that is I will find a Black-owned vendor to supply an originally owned vendor to supply your snack. And, I'm supporting them, you're supporting me, and I'm supporting you as well by giving you, recognizing you for listening to my podcast. So it's an endless circle of, just giving back. So like you're supporting me, I'm supporting them. And then I'm also supporting you for supporting me. Does that make sense? Hope it does. All right, on to the next section. This next section is called the original business highlight section. And in this section, what I'm doing is highlighting originally owned businesses owned and operated by original people. So, and the purpose of that section is to help me destroy original people stereotypes, help us slay the myth about original people, about that we're not dutiful, that we're not entrepreneurs, that we're not business minded, and that we have no businesses to support. So that's absolute fiction. And also to provide the positive frame of reference for anybody out there that's wanting to start their own business, but not knowing where to start. Because in these sections, I chronicle in detail their bio, how they started, and all the people that I highlight basically started from the bottom with little to no education. If they are college educated, the field of business their business that they opened had pretty much nothing to do with their major or their field of study they went to college for. Although it might have helped them along the way at some point, owning and operating the business, but it didn't align up with their major. So they also, in addition to that, I try to highlight people that give back to the community, hire their own, also do some type of philanthropy for the community. Either they have their own nonprofit organization or they pay into a nonprofit organization or sponsor a nonprofit organization. Basically do something for the community that they are rooted in, not just make money off the community. And then the last qualifying criteria that I look for in the highlight section is, does it align with my theme? And my current theme is the season of summer. So all summer long, I will be highlighting originally people-owned businesses that fall in stride with the season of summertime. And what I mean by that is just like something everybody does in summertime, something essential, like just something traditional, some type of summer tradition, and it's a business behind it. So hope that explains it, and right on into it. Now, being that it is summertime and being that we are now out of the pandemic, pretty much, basically, a lot of mass restrictions are lifted. We can do things we could not do before this pandemic started. We don't have to social distance anymore. A lot of places, masks are optional. They're slowly lifting the mask ban on airlines. But I think the biggest thing we missed during the pandemic that just made us sick, that cringed in people acted like they couldn't live without, was the movie going experience. So there was like some cute TikToks that came out, people transforming their homes into movie theaters, like the whole nine, got their popcorn and their snacks, and they sitting up there handwriting movie tickets. But, now movie theaters are open again. And like right when, they declared all the businesses back open, we had that period where the AMC stock skyrocketed because all the movie theaters were open again. But so yeah, that's pretty much the best segue I can think of. Like, I shouldn't even have to segue into it. You should just automatically know what I'm about to say. The businesses I will be highlighting today are originally people-owned movie theaters. And so for my first original people-owned movie theater is Next Act, founded by Anthony Wright and Robert Fikes. His name is spelled F-Y-K-E-S. So I just want to clear that up in case if I mispronounced his name. And physical address, 921 Rysters, Rhode Island, 921 Rysters Road, Pridesville, Maryland. The email address is www.nextactcinema.com. And so they basically created how the movie theater concept came to be was just basically like attracts like, or like minds, a meeting of like minds. They were, Anthony and Robert actually met as medical co-workers at a medical management company years ago. And so they was already making big bank doing that, like, if you know anything about the medical industry. So that was on the managerial side of it. So that's a good 5-6 figure a year salary job. Anthony came up with the idea to design a movie theater just based on hosting events at his house. So this like briefly tells you how much bank he was working with. He had a private theater inside his home. So he had a projection, seats, the whole nine already in his home, worked from his 9 to 5 gig. This is before he started the business. Like leather reclining seats, movie projector, popcorn maker. He had all that whole setup, the movie theater setup already inside of his crib. So he already had bank before they went into business. They launched the business in 2019. The article didn't really go into depth other than they just launched, the movie theater. There's not a whole lot of in-depth about their background, educational background and such. You might have to do your due diligence to, pull up their LinkedIn page to see what all activities they were into. I could have done it, but for the purpose of this podcast, I think that bit that I'm supplying you with is sufficient enough, because I'm just trying to provide a positive frame of reference, just showing you it can be done, that they amalgamated, something out of nothing. They just took a concept, something that they wanted to do, and was like, yo, let's make a movie theater. And it's something everybody could enjoy. So their movie theaters, basically their movie theater is more like a bar and grill. They focus more on the concession side of it. They have adult beverages. They're focused more on the dining side of it. It's kind of like Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster's meets a Cineplex or an IMAX. That's what their concept is. And their concept is like on also as well as ambiance, with like the that fancy schmancy appeal. It's like, ooh, this is nice. So that's what they really kind of focus on. So you can go to the website and see what all anonymities they offer at their movie theaters, and go support Next Act and Anthony Wright and Robert Fikes. Narrative Podcast, warm round of applause for those innovative brothers. Salute, support Next Act. All right, moving right along. So the next and so like for the criteria of giving back, that's also how they're giving back, by having original owned movie theater. I don't know if they're like if they're supporting any nonprofit organizations or if they're sponsoring anything. I couldn't find any information on that, but it's for sure originally owned. They put up their own money. They didn't have any investors. It's just both of them, their own money. They use their own resources. And, the biggest reason behind building the movie theater was for, the experience for the original people, because unfortunately, that's the movie theaters is a place where we get discriminated against. So, it's highly unlikely you'll be discriminated against at an originally owned movie theater. Of course, we need our own neighborhoods. We're getting that. There's many communities popping up all over the world. People are I think I already told y'all about the Hereafter Farms. I think I already told you about a place down south where some ladies purchased a whole plot of land and just built an originally people-owned town. It's not big, but it's growing. They're trying to buy up more plots of land to add to it. But until we get, our own neighborhoods all throughout the board, all over the United States and abroad, we have to just do our best to support, originally people owned until we get our own neighborhoods, organically our own neighborhoods. So anyway, next one comes to you, or the next one comes to you from the city of Newark in New Jersey. Is the Newark Moonlight Cinema, and its founder is Ayane Morris and Sire Morris. They opened it at the height of the pandemic, and basically it's a drive-in movie theater. This was to, come up with the whole social distancing thing. They advertise on Facebook, and I believe the site is, I can't believe I didn't have this in the notes. Let me punch it up. I believe it's just .com, Newark MoonlightCinema.com, but let me see to make double sure. I don't want to be telling you false information on my platform. Hold on, people. I'm still going to hit my time limit today. Yep, it is. It's www.newarkmoonlight.com. It says they are temporarily closed. Yep, it says right when you pull it up, we are temporarily closed till November. But it's still impressive. Their origin story was impressive, and I want to share that with you. So when they reopen, make sure if you're in New Jersey to support that experience. I'm pretty sure being the entrepreneurs they'll probably come up with some type of virtual thing to compensate until they get back running 100%. I think they're probably just closed for remodeling because it doesn't seem, I found like 10 different articles about them opening, like 10 different sources about their story. And apparently they actually had a hubbub from the city at one point because they was playing throwback movies when they first started, and they wanted to play, movies with strong original people leads. And for some odd reason, the city had something to say about that. But they stood their ground and they played the movie selections that they wanted to play. So yeah, they're already like making waves, getting down for the cause and not compromising their, morals and beliefs for the dollar. All right. So now that I got that cleared, so the address is on the website too, and I already gave you the address. So on to the next one, and I think that's my last one, yeah. Business section I'll be highlighting today, and it is called Spotlight Cinemas, Capital H, Columbia, South Carolina, and it was founded by Bishop Eric J. Freeman, and the site address is spotlightcinemas.com. The physical address is 201 Columbia Mall Boulevard, Suite 211, phone number 803-756-3456. I didn't really have a complete background story for him. I really tried. I scoured all over the net, but it's just basically he produced the money on his own. He didn't really do a crowdfunding. He just found a way to make it happen, and I want to share his story with you. So sometimes when I'm trying to provide the positive frames of reference, it's just not like I can't find a rag to riches tale. That's what I try to do, but it's just sometimes it doesn't align up like that. And this is one of those times, but definitely go support Spotlight Cinemas. They're open for business. They've been open since 2019. Go support. That will do it for my highlight section. And on to one of my favorite sections, the highlight section. Why is it one of my favorite sections? Because I have made it infamous all over the land of the internet land, the podcast land, whatever land that you in. Nobody was doing spotlight sections until Halsey Allen on the Narrative Podcast started spotlighting individuals. It is a fact. It checks out. You can go through all my episode logs and see the exact day when I started my spotlight, and then go back and look on the internet, anywhere on the internet, and see who was doing it, and you will find nobody was. But anyway, on my spotlights, the type of figures I like to spotlight is prominent original people figures, people in our community that's doing their due diligence on the front line, speaking up for the cause, using their platforms in a positive way, coming from the bottom, coming out of a tough place, overcoming adversities, and basically just helping any way they can to, further the cause, whether it's through philanthropy, whether it's through just speaking on our issues unapologetically on platforms, or whether it's just, being something to look up to and carrying and conducting themselves in a certain way. And the people I usually spotlight are in the entertainment industry, usually, but I've been known to just highlight just regular people as well on my spotlight section. But usually it's actors, actresses, producers, writers, comedians, athletes. I think I covered it all. Recording artists. So that's about who I usually cover on this section. Public figures as well. So now the types of people that I usually spotlight onto my spotlight of today. This guy is synonymous with hip hop. He created a lane for the hype man. He made it possible for a hype man to make the transition into an artist. He also is solely responsible for VH1 messing with the genre of hip hop, because they wasn't really messing with hip hop like that until he had his own show on that network. And before he had his own show on the network, it was just his portrayal on a show that they produced specifically for that network. So he was the bright out of all the stars that they had on that show. He shined the brightest. Like, the camera stayed on him the entire time he was in the house. It should be obvious who I'm speaking to or who I'm speaking about just from what I just said. But if you're still in the dark, I'm not even going to hold you. I'm going to get right to the point. My spotlight is none other than the man, the legend. He coined so many phrases, started so many hip hop trends. So legendary, so epic, not just in hip hop, but just a cultural icon. None other than Mr. Flavor Flav. Yeah, boy. Okay, I tried. But anyway, yeah, so today's spotlight goes to Flavor Flav. Born William Jonathan Drayton. He was born in Roosevelt, New York. He attended a culinary school, went to Adolph University on Long Island, where he met Chuck D. And they, at the time, was in college, had their own radio show, and as they say in the industry, the rest was history. I'm not going to go down the gambit of his entire, wiki page or what they said about him on Wiki. I'm just going off what I admire about him and why I'm selecting him for the spotlight. He is the definition, the epitome of not giving a F. He's literally the brunt of every single joke you can think about. We've seen him fall a million times. Like he had his bouts with substance abuse problems, but through all that, through all his adversities, he still managed to stand strong. I think he got like 12 children. It's been said that he hasn't paid child support, hasn't taken care of them, but it hasn't really been confirmed that that's the truth. So I would like to say, I should like to think he took care of his children. Like I said, he started so many trends and opened the door for so many possibilities for hip hop. I think also people don't give him his just dues as an intellectual by the way he dresses, and by the way he talks and by the way he dresses. People just prematurely prejudge him. Like he's also a lesson about don't judge a book by its cover, because he's very musically inclined. And like I said, he also attended a culinary school, so he cooks. So interesting backstory about how he got the clock. I saw something about Chuck D's father. I did an interview, and so he was working for Chuck D's father for a while, and that's how the clock came about. Because basically he was up late to work all the time. And it's like, well, why don't you, get a clock? And he started wearing a clock around his neck, and he even gave birth to the phrase, "That's the time." That's a common phrase in hip hop. The time. What time is it? All that can be attributed to Flavor Flav, and then not to mention, the flavor of love for all the opportunities he gave all those young ladies on that platform who would have never had an opportunity for anything in their life other than, probably like stripping or whatever. He gave them a voice and gave them a platform to go off and do everything that they're doing now. A lot of them are, acting, got their own TV shows, whatever, but, they wouldn't have had any of that opportunity had they have never created the flavor of love. And then, yes, it was a lot of stereotypical stuff that I don't like on that show. I can't say I was a huge fan of it when it was on the air, but I wasn't like super in my, feelings about it. It was what it was. I found some of it entertaining. I found some of it very insulting to my intelligence, but for the most part, it was entertainment. It was like all right to watch. It wasn't super cringy, is what I'm saying. For like how we're usually depicted when you like take a big step back. They're in this big, luxurious house. They got this 5-star treatment. They're always like for the dates, they was always going to a 5-star restaurant, 5-star accommodations. So it was you got to experience culture through television as well. So that's what kind of counterbalanced the negative stereotypes. A lot of people say he's a walking negative stereotype, but I digress. I think he gave a lot of birth to a lot of nuances within the culture of hip hop, and I think hip hop in the world owes a lot to Mr. Drayton for his contributions, and he is born again through a new generation. He got a doppelganger, and they just made a viral moment. He just, his doppelganger, Boozy Badass, his hip hop doppelganger, they made a viral moment. So, he's an entrepreneur. He's also gives back to the community. He has spoken at many, many correctional facilities, sharing his experience of being incarcerated and, giving speeches to not be in that situation affording and providing opportunities for other people not to be in that situation. So he's done a lot for the culture. And, 50 Cent had made a song a while ago. I think it's called Straight to the Bank. And the hook was basically like, ha, 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 ha. I'ma laugh straight to the bank. I think that's like really Flavor Flav's theme song. It's a theme song of his life. Because when you think about it, he really always kind of gets the last laugh. Like he's the brunt of everybody's jokes, but he gets bag after bag after bag after bag. Like people bag on the way he looks, his face and stuff. People bag on the way he dresses, but he keeps checking bags though. The whole time while y'all bagging, he's checking bags. So he gets the last laugh all the time. So give it up for Mr. Drayton, Flavor Flav. Like he created the gold teeth, the gold grill craze. He made that infamous. He doesn't get credit for that. It's just so much he started that he doesn't get enough credit for, because people try to, put him in this box of being the hip hop jester. But really he's like the hip hop general. Really he's like a hip hop strategist. He strategizes his brand. He puts himself in the best possible position in all things. Like, you know what I'm saying? He just like, he be playing possum. He makes y'all think that he's not, spry, but he's very spry. So, honor and a privilege. I'm glad I was alive to see him at the height of his career. He looks great for his age, for everything that he's went through. I think he's like a little over 60. He barely looks like over his late 40s. He looks like he could be like 48, 49, but he's like, a senior. But he's done a lot, lived a lot, done a lot, and doesn't care what people thinks about him. He's having fun. He's living his best life. He ain't bothering nobody. He's just making money, making music, and a prime example of not to care and worry about what other people are thinking and saying about you. So clap it up for Flavor Flav. Alrighty then, wrapping it up, y'all. So just now at the hour mark, 53, got a counter. Coming to the health and wellness section of the Narrative Podcast. In this section, what I do is talk about, health and wellness. So it's usually the health benefits of a plant, fruit, vegetable, herb, extract, something edible that has health benefits, as well as physical exercises, as well as mindfulness, wellness, mindful breathing type of things. Things you can just basically keep yourself in maximum health, things that will maximize your health and vitality. So the reason why I started doing this section is because we are at the target of this invisible thing, and as well as most diseases. But if you're living a healthy, active, fit lifestyle, you'll always bounce back quicker from it. It's like the better you take care of your body, the less you will be sick and under the weather. And so that's what I'm providing in that section. I also want to do the disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an herbalist. I'm not a Reiki healer. You know what I mean? I'm just somebody who has made changes in their life and has seen changes, and you can like physically look at me and see the changes when I tell you the changes I made in my life, and you can physically look at me and see the changes. Be like, okay, this audio platform, you can't see my before pictures, but yeah, the before and after is definitely astounding. And I'm not a big picture poster online anyway. I still got my profile pic, a pic that I snapped up in 19, still on my profile pic on my Google on the Halsey Allen. So when that pops up, it's like, but anyway, yeah. Um, Also, another disclaimer: it does not matter how many hours a day you work out. Doesn't matter what diet you subscribe to. It doesn't matter how how physically fit you are, what muscle groups you have, highly defined muscle groups like yoked, shredded, or whatever. You're still going to get sick, and the only thing that matters is how well you take care of yourself. What you're putting in your body and what you're putting in your mind ultimately dictates how quickly you will bounce back from being sick. And everything in nature gets sick, as well as plants and animals get sick. Everything on the planet that is alive comes, under the weather. It's just an inevitable thing of life. It's a part of life. But again, how well you take care of yourself will dictate how long, you will be sick. It'll also dictate the symptoms, like how, the symptoms that hit you. For somebody that doesn't take care of themselves, they're going to be experiencing headaches. They're going to be experiencing abdominal like stomach aches. I swear I know how to say that word, but I just got tongue tied. But abdominal aches and fever, sweating, and all that. But the better you take care of yourself, it's just like lay down, drink some water, get back up in a couple hours if you're living the healthy, active, fit lifestyle, as opposed to partying all the time, not getting adequate sleep, not drinking adequate fluid, keeping yourself hydrated, not getting adequate sunlight. And especially if you're a melanated person, you need that sunlight. We are the closest things on the planet to plant life. Like our genetic makeup, our genetic structure, melanin is, the closest thing that resembles photosynthesis in plant life. Like we get stronger, we thrive better with sunlight, everything. Our skin clears up, our hair gets better, we think more clearly. We get physically stronger in the sunlight. We also gain other things with sunlight, how we process our nutrients, how we process our, absorb vitamins and minerals through like the photosynthesis in our bodies, processing that light energy. We solar power, baby. But anyway, that's an awesome segue into telling you today's health and wellness benefit. Today is the health benefits of the cucumber, or originally in Africa, in the islands, they pronounce it cucumba. So cucumber or the cucumba. Just a second, I'm trying to get my notes. I just had it. keeps you hydrated, rich in vitamin K, good for bone health, has anti-cancerous properties, helps fight diabetes by lowering blood sugar, lowering sugar, prevents glucose spikes, and is rich in antioxidants and helps with weight loss. Also, it helps regulate the body temperature. So that's where that old saying comes from. It's cool as a cucumber. Cucumbers regulate your body temperature, prevents you from, overheating, especially in the summertime. That's why cucumbers are so popular in the summer months, because it's ultimate summer food. It helps cool you off. It refreshes you. It helps keep you regular as well. Flushes out all that, solid waste, culminating all that bile and plaque on the inside of you. Helps bring that out. And the most important thing for us melanated people is it is rich in that magic life-giving, property, chlorophyll. So I already said what chlorophyll does. Chlorophyll is basically like, the photosynthesis is just like you're eating the photosynthesis type process. Like it recharges your cells. Chlorophyll is also like a natural deodorant. It deodorizes you from the inside and out. And just, enhances your melanin, basically. It supercharges your melanin, so you want to eat anything rich in chlorophyll. And that will do it for the health and wellness section. Now off to my second to the last section. After this, I got one more section, and then I plug whatever it is I'm working on and bring it to a close. So this section is my speaking point section. And basically what I do in this section is talk about, if I have a topic that I would like to discuss, a world topic, things that's happened around the world, things that's happened just in our community. Or just, I'm free balling. Sometimes I don't have a thing to talk about. Sometimes I do. Or don't. Sometimes I do. But basically my overall point, the reason why I do this section is to control the narrative. So why I want to control the narrative in that section, because when news usually breaks, the powers that be, they construct the image in such a way to have us looking and sounding crazy. For example, the Kanye West, Slavery Was a Choice. How they broke it on TMZ, they broke it, had him looking like, a lunatic. But when you went back and seen it in its entirety, you could say, okay, I know what he meant to say, just came out wrong. But the clip that went viral and sparked all these different online debates within our community, and it was most of the people that didn't even watch it, the whole, video in its entirety, was just reacting off of that one clip, that 1 30-second, just forget all the other conscious woke stuff he said within the conversation. They fixated on him saying slavery was a choice. This is what they do all the time when they release news about us or news that concerns us. They take the most negative part of it and they sensationalize it. So having said that, I got a couple speaking points. First speaking point I want to unpack is kind of tethered to my speaking point that I had on Wednesday. And why is it tethered? Because it deals with similar content, but different circumstances. You know, different toilets, same crap. This time it was, last Wednesday I was delivered some commentary on Styles P when he had intervened and prevented the police from accosting an original woman. They had took it a little too far. She was already handcuffed, and they proceeded to like slam her head on the concrete. And at that point, he intervened and he called, the police officer the arresting officer out of his name. And basically, I had said in that context, that course of action is what is needed. That's what's needed in that context when the people that's supposed to serve and protect us aren't serving and protecting us. I mean, we can't get mad at them because, the system isn't broken. It's doing what it was designed. It wasn't designed to afford us, all the equalities everybody else's get. You can look at the neighborhoods. You can look at any type of structure you want, especially here in America, and you will see it was not designed for us. But I digress. I think I covered all my points. I agreed with him to a certain extent. I mean, I agreed with his actions 110%. And he was man enough to take, responsibility for his actions. He said, I probably could have handled it a different way. I don't advise people calling, the police out of their name. I got heated in the moment, and it upsets me when I see people that cannot defend themselves getting accosted. So that's basically what he said in a nutshell. And I disagreed to the point like he didn't do nothing wrong. Like if he didn't react the way he reacted, that sister probably, either wouldn't be here today or she would be a paraplegic because that's how hard he slammed her head on the concrete. And he probably was not going to stop before he intervened. But so the new thing I wanted to comment on, deliver some commentary on what I just said. I just said his name earlier, but I have to say his name again. Rapper Boosie Badass. He had a most recent altercation with the police department, and basically they just pulled him over for nothing, and it happens quite frequently. He has moved from the ghetto to the suburbs, and basically he has been profiled. So it's basically like every time they see one of his vehicles, no matter which, they know all the vehicles he drives. Every time they see him on the road, they pull him over. And he is absolutely tired of it. And, everybody got their breaking point, and his breaking point got captured on film. TMZ was the people that, broke that story. I don't know who sent it to him, but I really kind of detest that network because it's I find them to be very exploitive of our culture. And that's a big, huge reason why Van Lathan left that network. He has been on several shows and commented on how exploitive they are towards us, especially Harvey Levine. They hire a lot of original people, but yet at the same time, they exploit us to death. So it's like you use us to exploit us. Like different toilet, same crack. So you don't get kudos just for hiring us. But anyway, so in the clip, he basically he spazzed out, man. As he should. He got tired of getting pulled over. Every time they see one of his vehicles, they pull him over. He spazzed all the way out, and he basically got to the point. It's like, I don't even care. I'm ready to go to jail. I'm tired of this. And what I basically want to say is about that commentary is what I want to tie it to is something I've already said. That is the reason why we need reparations, because he's a multimillionaire. He came from the bottom. The psychological trauma inflicted on him is the same psychological trauma inflicted upon all of us. This is why we need it. This is why you need to do it. See, he's so trauma-laden, he says he's ready to go back to jail. When he went to jail the first time for a misdemeanor offense, they gave him I think almost 10 years over 1/8 of a gram of marijuana. So he had a nickel bag and a blunt that had been already smoked. So that's what he went to almost 10 years of his life in jail for. It was in China, not at the height of his rap career. This is when he was just about to be crowned the new king of the South, that they did this to him. But it wasn't all for naught, because it strengthened his fan base, because all his fans was outraged that he got that raw deal, and it just helped build anticipation for his release. It helped rally people to get him released, because people started writing the judges and writing all the people they need to write. But it sparked definitely some negative spirits. I don't know how else to describe. That's it dusted off some old bones that resides in all original people. This is trauma I felt even though I was not born. This is when Caucasian people say, well, why do I got pay for it? I wasn't born. Why do I got to pay for something that happened before I was born? So I got to answer that question with the question, why do we have to pay for something that happened before we was born, that we're still continuing to pay for, because it has not been abolished. It merely took a different form. It has not abolished. It merely took a different form. You look at law enforcement. Law enforcement was derived from the slave patrol. You still see all the parallels from law enforcement of back then till today. Look at their protocol and how they engage us. The slave patrol. Let me see your papers, boy. Law enforcement today. Excuse me, sir. License registration. It didn't end. It just evolved. It just slightly changed. It transitioned. It's still here. So why should not we be compensated for that? Why are we having to still continuously pay for that. They did so many things, all this division we got within our own culture. We got a lot of this that was already here in the Americas. They repurposed this and rebranded us. They started calling us black. They just made up a word to call us. And like, you guys are black. And so you're going to go on the plantation and you're going to get treated subhuman. And the ones that came over here on the slave boats, they inflicted the same atrocities upon them. And, didn't make it right with future generations. Then when slavery ended, they created a law, they created incarceration. The Jim Crow laws, they're going to end slavery and then arrest people for not knowing how to, support themselves economically. So that's why you have to pay, because we got to still pay. So if you want to get out of your spiritual debt, you got to help us get out of our spiritual debt. So, that's why we need reparations. That right there is why we need reparations. Because this man is a multimillionaire several times over. He's to the point where he doesn't care about nothing no more. He wants to go to jail. It's like, he feels as though, like, why am I going through this? I got all this money and they still treating me like the N-word hard R. I don't bother anybody. I stay in my own lane and they still mess with me. They still find a way to mess with me. So, I said all that to say, while we do still need reparations, I would say to Boosie, he can use his money. If he disciplines his spending, he can just create his own neighborhood. He can buy plots of land, and actually, you can get something from the government where you actually, you can build your actual own community within your own sovereignty nation within America and get like a form of diplomatic immunity to where that police cannot mess with you as long as you provide your residents of your new community with the proper documentation, with the proper taxation, tax IDs and such. So it's always a way around something. You just got to do your own due diligence. I forget the name of the document. I probably have that on my next broadcast. Clear that. I forgot to put that in my notes, but you actually can make your own sovereign nation. Like there's a process in doing that. And that's all I want to say for my speaking points for today. And now on to my last section before my very last section of the Narrative Podcast. And in this section, it's called Final Thoughts. This section is usually a gem, a pearl of wisdom, a critical thinking points, something to put on your mind to just give you critical thought. Just think critically about. In today's final word would be strong black women. So I already said I'm taking the word black out of my vocabulary. So strong. But I got to say the word to cement my point. We got to stop calling our sisters strong black women because it does not do anything. It does the opposite of what you think it's doing. you think it's, building their self-esteem and building their self-worth. But actually, when you say that, it's actually destroying them. Because I talk about it on my segment time and time again, the power of words. We're actually signing our own death certificate. The men, brothers and sisters, like sisters running around calling yourself strong black women, you're actually signing your own death certificate, conforming to that title. Because conforming to that title means you must sacrifice the black man. The black man is, the nurturer. He is be your counselor. We're supposed to basically offset each other's energies, play off each other's strengths and weaknesses, and, be a unit. So when you call yourself a strong black woman, you're sacrificing the most pivotal. You're sacrificing basically your grounding rod, and you're taking all, this electricity. Like the black man is your grounding rod. This is why they give you that 6-figure salary. This is why they allow you to buy these $100,000 vehicles and, all these multi-million-dollar businesses to exclude the black man, because they want to portray the black man in the most negative light possible. They want to make us seem unsalvageable, like we have no redeeming qualities. Look, black woman, he's not worth saving. He can't take care of you. He'll be abusive towards you. He can't financially take care of you. He can't match your dollar. He can't be emotionally there for you because we've emotionally scarred him. And the only other ones that are available is the ones that aren't interested in women at all, or the weak, wimpy, weenie, indecisive beta males. That's why we got to stop calling the black women, strong black women. A woman is, our sisters are frail. They are, delicate. They need love. They need guidance. They need nurturing. They need a strong male presence in them. And that's what sisters usually mean when they say, I need somebody that can handle me. Now, when they're calling yourself a strong black woman, and y'all got to stop calling yourselves boss bitches. Got to stop calling yourself boss bitches too. Like, I'm a boss bitch. I boss up. I can take it to the next level, because all that means nothing. When you separate the black man from the black woman, this allows, the powers that be to come in. There will be nothing to save you from their agenda. We're the savior from the agenda they got planned for you. What they got planned for you is for you to be infertile, not be able to reproduce. And if you are reproducing, it's not going to be, they don't want, the male with any link to their heritage, knowing who they are. So they want, they want to force agendas, basically. So they want to keep you at bay and turn you against the black man and turn you against, your race, period. Because then it turns into, not only do I not need a black man, I don't need a man, period. Or if you get a man, you're going to get, a Caucasian male, an Asian male, or whatever. And that's perfectly fine. That's not what I'm saying. You can date whomever you want to. But for us to thrive as a people, we need that connection. We need the unity. And it definitely wasn't a slight against any sisters who are, of that community, the LGBT community. That's not a slight against you, but you too. Also, you don't have to be romantically linked to a black man, an original man, going against my own rule. I'm saying black to make my point, but on my platform, it's original man, original woman. But even in that scenario, you need us. You need a black man somewhere present in your life and proof of it. See, all the successful men and women, when a black woman is present in a black man's life, look how far he goes. When a black man is present in a black woman's life, look how far she goes. So, you can't continue to call yourself a strong black woman, because what that's doing is taking the presence of a black man and all these little subdivision organizations coming in on the side of it. Black Girl Magic, Black Girls Rock. It was initially intended to empower, but some other entities attach themselves like the leeches they are, like the parasitic leeches they are, and turn it into a whole, flip the narrative. Ding, 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 flip the narrative. Where's my ding, ding, ding? But I don't got it. I'm going to get one. But anyway, they flip the narrative and change it into something totally different. Just like with the Black Lives Matter. When we said Black Lives Matter, we was just saying we matter too. Then it turned into All Lives Matter. Then it turned into Blue Lives Matter. This Lives Matter. Whatever lives matter. Getting away from the original point of we are human beings too. That's what that means when we say that. Not no organization, not all these people pilfering money and funds. We just wanted to be acknowledged as human beings. We're somebody too. That's what that really meant when we started saying that. So when black women first started saying, I'm a strong black woman, it initially was designed to be a self-esteem thing. But then it got weaponized and turned into, a weapon to drive away the black man by putting a wedge, by building a wall, an unassailable wall that he can't get to her to protect her from her. You see, you need the black man to protect you from you. Because with these 6-figure salaries and, this business-minded ethic, you leave yourself wide open to attack, and then you can't defend yourself. So when it goes down, when the full agenda goes down, because we're already at DEFCON 1, you won't be able to, defend yourself and your children, because we'll be incarcerated, half of us. The other half would be dead, and the other half would just be like, refugees on the run, fleeing. We don't got time for a relationship because we trying to stay alive. So we got to put a pin in that, calling, a black woman, a strong black woman. We got to eradicate that out of our vocabulary. If you want to, empower a sister, call her a black queen, call her a goddess, call her a matriarch. Don't call her a strong black woman. Call her an empress. Don't call her a strong black woman. Call her a goddess. Don't call her a strong black woman. That's just poison. It's slow death. So we got to alleviate that and get that out of our vocabulary, men and women. And again, I'm not trying to leave out our, sisters. We just, men don't do it for you. We're not trying to leave you out the equation. But like I said, even y'all need a man somewhere present in y'all's life. Because the only way that we're going to, combat this systemic thing is together, united. We got to quit letting things divide us. We got to quit letting money, status, and all these side organizations and side causes divide us. We got to keep tunnel vision, and just keep a united front. Keep all these little side distractions and, pardon the pun, white noise filtered and out of the equation. Stop calling our sisters strong black women. So that's it from my final thoughts. Stop calling black women strong. Stop calling our sisters strong black men or women, excuse me. Stop calling our sisters strong black women. I'm going to put a pin in it right there for my final thoughts. If you're digging the content, you want to see more content from me, or want to hear rather more content from me, download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Join me again next weekend for a full edition of the Narrative Podcast. Wherever you get your podcast from, make sure you listen regularly, because I do lives. I never know what day I'm going to go live. So, tune in and, check all episodes for the live edition of the Narrative Podcast. Also, I write poetry. I would like you to support that, because supporting, all my projects is supporting the podcast. So downloads, likes, all that. That's how you, help me grow my platform, grow my content. Because I know you want to hear me interview some guests. I know you want to see me transition from behind the mic in front of a camera. So to expedite that, please download this episode and all episodes of the Narrative Podcast, and then also support my poetry. I got a poetry blog called Halsey's Poetry Corner. You can visit that at www.mrhalseysblogs.com. And the best way to support that is to share all my poems on all platforms, on whatever platform you got, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Every time you see me post a poem, just share it on like that. Or you can go hit the like button on the actual site. When you go to www.mrhalseysblog.com, you click the like button on a poem. Real simple. You don't have to go endorse me. You don't have to do a TikTok like, oh my God, I just read this amazing poem from Halsey's Poetry Corner. I like that poem, da-da-da. You can if you want to. I ain't mad at you for doing it, but support my poetry. That'll help immensely, because my platforms are growing. I got all kinds of stuff lined up. If you missed me on Wednesday, I told you I was working on a writing project. I am done with the writing project. Make some noise. I just received my physical copy of my book. It came on Friday. So I announced it on Wednesday. The physical copy finally came on Friday. I'm in the process of converting that into an ebook. Once I've uploaded it to the source, I'm still doing, my uploads because I don't have it on the flash drive. So I'm at to like manually, flip through the pages and upload it like that. But once that's done, it's going to be converted into an ebook. If you follow Halsey Allen, on your Facebook, on your Instagram or Twitter, you already know the title of the book, but I'll share the title once I've fully converted into an ebook and have a link that you can purchase it like that. And then from the ebook, I'm going to, do audio and, of course, physical copies as well. So, like all that, like coming soon. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I got many more projects over the rise. Continue to support the Narrative Podcast. So Halsey Allen signing off. Narrative Podcast signing off, changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm inspiring you to change the narrative one post at a time. Catch you next time. Narrative Podcast, Halsey Allen, signing off. Love. I'm gonna set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, get a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit,